What's going on, friends and family? This is Slim, the voice of League of Lions Wrestling, and I'd like to welcome you to the Lion's Den. Today is a very, very special edition of the Lion's Den. We have the first inductee into the League of Lions Hall of Fame, the Love Machine, Mongoose. What's up, my friend?
Nice to meet you, son.
Good times, man. It's been way too long.
Way too long.
All right.
Way too long.
So, we're just going to kind of run with it. You know, I got a couple notes over here to make sure we steer it in the right direction, but this is just hanging out. Tell me a little bit about Little Goose in Pritchett, Texas.
Oh, I come up actually in Union Grove. I was in line, so it all worked out, didn't it?
There you go.
Moved around a lot, but my home's always been out in Pritchett area. My grandparents, they had a homestead out there, so we always come back there. And now I live right next to them.
Right next to him. Gotcha.
Grow up. We'd come in. We wasn't playing football. We was in the house, dropping each other on our heads, or watching wrestling on the TV. And I always thought I was Sting growing up.
Couldn't pick anybody better? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I was limited at that time on what I could get on the TV.
Right.
We didn't have
Especially
cable
on
then.
Pritchett, you got, what, 3 channels? Maybe 4?
We ended up getting 4, yeah.
Maybe 4?
Yeah.
Just when it was raining?
On occasion, if the wind blew the right direction.
All right. You brought them up, your family, siblings, brothers, sisters. How big, how small?
I'm the oldest. I have 2 half siblings. Well, 3 half siblings. 2 from another woman, other than my mom. I'm the only one with my mom and my dad. And then I have a baby brother. They got me all some nieces and nephews. Loving it.
And we got 2 kiddos of your own.
I got 2 of my own. Baby's about to turn 21, and the other one's 24.
Babies.
Yeah. Of course, I have stepchildren, and one of the stepkids, which I don't have stepkids. They all my kids.
Exactly.
She done made me a grandpa, and I've got another grandkid on the way. So it's time to start getting them into wrestling.
Yeah. So this is going to tell our age. We talked about this real quick. You and I have known each other for 34 stinking years. 34, brother.
34 years.
Older than the man filming us right now by probably a decade.
By 4 years.
4 years, all right, 4 years. So graduated from Glaywater High School in 1993, home of the Bears. Back when we used to actually do something on the football field. They're doing it again. Had a little hiatus. We get out of high school, and what is next?
Well, we graduated in May. July, the day before my birthday, I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. My 18th birthday, I woke up boot camp. I did my basic training at Fort Sill. They sent me to Fort Jackson, South Carolina for my advanced training. And then I was stationed, of all places, at Fort Hood. So I come back home.
Come back to Texas, Central Texas. I know Fort Hood well. Dad retired from there, and that was my home until I was, 12, 13 years old. So I know it well. Get out of the military, you moved back to East Texas, and?
Well, moved back to East Texas. I was working construction with my dad for a while. And then I worked Terminex, Coors. I had a lot of jobs.
Gotcha.
Never had a career. And then about 16 years ago, I got a call, hey, you looking for a job? I said, I'm always looking for a job that pays more money. And that's where I started with Halliburton.
Still with them to this day?
Still with them.
We're doing our odd jobs back in East Texas, and you meet up with Malden, right? Isn't it Malden that helped you get in touch with Akbar?
No. Not exactly. How it all happened, Mongoose into the world of wrestling. Well, I've always been a fan. You know, if it was on the TV, I was watching it. if they was coming to town, I was going to see the Von Erichs. Of course, I kind of like the Freebirds a little bit better.
Right.
But it was the sequence. But
That explains a lot.
it was Michael P.S. Hayes, but
There you go.
it was actually started here in Longview at Alley Fest.
Okay.
We were walking through, me and my wife at the time. We'd come up here for Alley Fest, and I seen a wrestling ring. Well, I took off running and left her wherever she was at, and went up running to the ring. Like, when's the show? When's the show? I just missed the show. But they said, but if you really like wrestling and you'd like to try it, we have a school here in Longview. I said, great, where, when? So he gave me the time and place, and it was actually over here off of Cotton Street in the indoor soccer arena, and I walked in and immediately recognized Skandar Akbar.
There you go. A lot of people
And the
may
rest
not
is history.
throw that in there, but for anybody that is a fan of East Texas wrestling or just Texas wrestling in general, Akbar was the man.
Akbar was the man.
It was either Akbar or Percy Pringle, who
Black
of course
Bart.
everybody goes on to be knows he goes on to be Paul Bearer later in the day. But for Texas wrestling, you had Percy Pringle or Akbar and Devastation Incorporated. I mean that's just it right there. So you walk in, you see Akbar trying to hold yourself together. How do you not fangirl?
Oh, I ain't gonna lie, I fangirl. But luckily, I had a good group of guys and women there that set me straight pretty quick.
Right.
So that night, I met Tick and Roxanne and Slam Shady, and they put me on the path pretty quick.
Right.
And I think they tried to make me quit, but I wouldn't quit, so they started training me better.
Started showing you exactly what it was all about.
I was more than just a tackling dummy for them then.
So, legitimately, how long are you in training before you become more than that tackling dummy?
I trained a solid 6 months before I ever had my first practice match.
First practice match.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Which was against Roxanne,
Okay.
and she beat the crap out of me.
And how long before your first show?
Well, I never got to do a show for act.
Okay.
They had closed the school, and I was still going to stay with them, but with my job at the time, I wasn't able to drive to Mesquite.
Right.
So I ended up going to college, Texas State Technical College over in Marshall, and I met New Age Dog.
Okay.
Well, he met me because I was sitting minding my own business in the class, and then the biggest guy I've ever seen just kicked the door open and said, "Who's the wrestler in here?" It scared the crap out of me, but he waited for me after class, and we talked. He said that he was starting up a school. Was I interested in helping him? And so they got me started in Marshall.
That's ACW Marshall.
That's
huh?
ACW, Texas.
Gotcha. And how did he know there was a wrestler in this class for him to kick in the door?
Well, apparently one of my buddies, we got to talking about it, and I was telling him I was training, and he knew him and found out he was a wrestler, and he kind of put two and two together.
Gotcha. So you're at ACW Texas, and this is where we create Mongoose, or was Mongoose already created at this time? Or
Actually, I brought Mongoose with me.
okay,
Mongoose was, I made that, well, I'm not going to say I made it up. It's no secret, one of my favorites of all time was Chris Benoit, before he went, what happened. And, he was known as the Rabbit Wolverine. And I was like, okay, well, I'm short, I'm a smaller guy. I want to be mean. What is small and mean? And my brother-in-law at the time said, well, a mongoose is. They're quick. You're quick. Okay. And it just kind of stuck.
that's it. So you're in ACW Texas. Mongoose has come in. You're getting in the ring, doing your thing. Tell us the origin of the thrust.
The origin of the thrust. The origin of the thrust is PYT. The original PYT, which was me and Joey Corman. And we was out in the ring, we was filling time on the mic, and you know how good he was at just filling time on the mic. He could cut a promo about nothing and make
For
you
about
believe
2
it.
hours.
And make you believe it. Well, he just looked me dead in the eye one day. You know, I was the hype man of course. I was like, yeah. Cheering him on. He just out of the blue says, we come here to do two things. Whoop some butt and strut. He said, Mongoose, show him that strut, daddy. And
Just off the top, no rehearsal, no nothing.
Nope, just off the top.
You bring up PYT. PYT started in TEW, correct?
Correct.
Texas Elite Wrestling, based out of Glaywater, Texas. That is the first time I had actually seen you in the ring. A little bit of a history in TEW. You are a Grand Slam champion there. Tag team with the Regulators, with Pooch, one of the meanest, stiffest sun guns in the ring if you ever meet them.
Yeah. From what I understand, none of the guys really like drawing the straw to work us.
I wouldn't know why. I mean, you know, have a Tim's imprint on your chest when you get done getting stomped by, you know, Pooch.
Could have been that Sky High Slam too.
Right. So the Regulators go through their thing. They join Jaggers Inc. with Tommy Jaggers, and then later on PYT is in the mix. And I kind of go through it quick, and you can slow me down any way that you want. But during that time is when I saw you, in my opinion, really move into that leadership role, that locker room leadership role. You wasn't the one that was sitting in the corner mouthing unless they was joking. But everybody respected your opinion. They come to you to figure out how to make this work one way or another. And I guess what I'm getting at on that is there any big names of people that you feel like you've invested in that you are the proud papa moment, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, with PYT, you bring in, you know, Untamed Colton Shea, and then you got sensational Corey Summers, you know, first time he really was in that heel role. And
yeah, he took to it pretty good.
You know, for me personally, you know, we throw in Kane. You know, me and you make a hellacious drive to pick up a wrestling ring. You help me put it together. You work on training my dude, and then his very first match is the Love Train versus Heavy Metal. So, you know, a lot of investment in the young guys.
Had all the kids following us.
All the kids following Love Train. There you Gusher days. But legit, who would you consider your prized pupil, I guess, for lack of a better term, or ones that you excited that you get to say I had a little bit involved in that?
Well, the only person that I trained from day one on was Rancher Jack Stevens. And I could tell right off his specialty was going to be hardcore smash mouth wrestling. And don't get me wrong, he knew how to do the rest of it.
Right.
A matter of fact, me and him had some knockdown drag outs. Matter of fact, he was the first one to cut me open.
Right.
Of course, I was drunk. We had that drinking match when I was still with Tommy Jaggers.
Yeah, that was a good little match there, huh?
The rest of the guys, and especially the locker room at LOL, all the young guys, you know, if they would come up and ask me a question, I would answer it honest and in a way that would try to help them. I didn't see myself in a leadership role. And then, you know, kind of stepped back and kind of looked at it, you know, once I was out for a while, and I was like, well, kind of did step into it, you know. Then to come to me and ask, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Well, and I would tell them the truth. Hey, did you see the match? Yeah, I watched some of it. What'd you think? Well, you could have done this, you know. And I don't understand why they showed me so much respect, other than the fact that I respected them and was honest with them.
Right. And that's it.
But
you know,
I'm
share
proud
your
of
thoughts.
all the guys in the League of Lions organization. Because you couldn't ask for a better group of guys in the locker room, because they would listen to what you had to say, and then they would take it with a grain of salt. And a few of them got to where they would tell me what they thought, even if I thought something different.
Right.
I got down on myself, and a couple of guys in the back says, "What are you talking about? You're up here." You know, started getting a little older. I felt like I was getting too slow. I was dragging the other guys down. No, God. Chris Preston was probably the quickest learner, and I felt like just really just listening. You know, because I was at Chris Preston's day one. You know, and there was a lot of other kids that I thought was going to make it that didn't. But it really makes me feel good to look back and see not just Chris Preston. He's just, you know, he went from, you know, a little kid trying to learn to now look at, he's going all over the place now.
Right.
And
running a promotion, running a school,
running a
everything
school.
else.
I mean, and I just, I'm proud to have whatever he took from me. I'm proud to have that.
So we brought up League of Lions, brought up Chris Preston. We kind of, proper term here, we transitioned from Texas Elite Wrestling to League of Lions. Kind of did both for about a year and a half, and then, you know, it was known that it was going to be a transition period. We finished that transition period, and like I said, that leadership role, you know, you had a couple of alliances there, the DEA, Dead End Alliance, and then, of course, the Love Machines with Rob Love. Tons of accolades there with the Love Machines. Talk about Rob a little bit.
Man, what can you say about, was it King Rob now?
Right?
What can you say, man? He made you elevate your game. A lot of times you get with a tag partner and you have to work at it and figure each other out. Well, I feel like me and Rob were so similar in our styles at the beginning. It was like we already knew each other.
Just quick.
I mean, we come out to different songs, but we was both coming out thrusting. So, you know. But he studied his craft, and
Going all over the place, man.
getting on TV.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, they get jealous. Well, I'm his tag partner, I should be there too. Man, I was grinning from ear to ear when I turned on the TV and see Rob. I said, that's my partner. You know. But it's just, I miss old Rob.
Right.
Man, I think we had a lot more in us. I think we could have took the belts a lot more times, or just held them.
So you brought up the Freebirds earlier. You said the sequence is it. You know, it was the sequence with Michael Hayes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your gear bag. Your wife now, you know, made 90% of your gear, from what I understand, and you're the only man I know that would show up with about 15 changes of clothes to every gig.
Well, I didn't want to match the guy I was working against. So it started out, I was orange and black.
Right.
And then I was like, well, I need to throw a little more color in there. And I went with orange and purple. Don't judge me, it worked.
It does work.
Of course, you know, at that time I looked like a Dr. Mario pill, but whatever. It still worked. Everybody started wearing purple. So I got back, went back to orange, and then I, why don't we just stick with that? Let's start adding some more colors, and that's when, I would wear, depending on what month it was and what holiday was coming up, would be what I wear. Unless I was tagged, with Rob. Of course, we had the hot pink.
got to show and grow. You
Lot-
got to
lot
throw
of-
on
lot of
the blue.
sequins.
You know,
Oh
so-
yeah. Oh, you know I was wearing blue. You grow.
Right. So, theme songs. You know, we talk about Sharp Dressed Man coming out. We got the AC/DC Bee Gees mashup. Of course, Love Train. You know, a few times when y'all tag together. When you think of your career, what's your theme song? What tells everybody who you are?
Wow. That's a hard question, you know, because I've used Sharp Dressed Man for so long now. That's kind of just, you know, in my brain all the time. And really, it would depend on the mood at the time, you know, if I was healing or facing. But I got to go back with the original. Mongoose Flies. I didn't do a whole lot of flying, but when I did, I made it count.
Right? It's so funny, you know, people are just associated with music so much, you know. As I was sitting here thinking about what to ask you and how to steer this in, you know, of course, you know, the AC/DC BC mashup was the first thing I thought of, and then I was like, dude, you were introduced to Mongoose as part of the Regulators. How do you not think of, you know, Mountain Up, man? Come on.
Well,
And then you throw into
So,
the Snoop Dogg, right?
actually, that was a mixture of me and Pooch.
Right.
I threw the Regulators part in there, and he was talking about the actual. We actually used Snoop Dogg, "Riders in the Storm," and so I put the Regulators part on there. I actually cut all that myself on a little old computer. It took me probably about 3 weeks to get it right.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard not to go back to that. But again, the reason I didn't say that is because when I was a regulator, I had a different mindset in the ring. I was out there to hurt you. You know, in my mind, you know, we got to make it. We're gonna hurt whoever we're wrestling, and that really wasn't Mongoose.
Right.
Mongoose, you know, I like to have fun. You know, I like to clown, and you know, I take it serious, but we're gonna have fun with
Gotcha.
it. So,
I bring that up because here it is, you know, like I said, 34 years of friendship, and if you call Regulators, it's still your ringtone. So funny. So, let's go through some favorites. If you want to throw in least favorites, we can do that as well, but let's keep it positive until the very end.
all right.
All right. Favorite match?
Favorite match. Favorite match is going to be in Tyler, Texas against Sean Cordova at the Comic-Con. So, Cordova's another one of them guys that you just know what he's fixing to do. He knows what you're fixing to do. It's just, that night was just magic, and we didn't even, I think we figured out we was working each other about 5 minutes before the match.
Right.
So,
It was added there. I tell this story jokingly, but there's a lot of truth to it. You know, when you're in school, you have that required reading. For about the last 5 to 7 years, I've called that required viewing. It was a clinic. Like you said, y'all were sitting in the back and said, hey, we're going to throw y'all out there. Okay. Didn't have time to go over anything. You just went out there and had fun.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I'll clean this up a little bit because of YouTube, but I remember you saying we didn't do anything for about 7 minutes and just had them eating out of the palm of our hand. And I was like, dude, that's the best match I've ever seen. And then I went back and watched it, and it was legit. For about 7 minutes, all y'all did was work the crowd. I don't think y'all ever touched each other. You know, had them eating out of your hand. That is my favorite match of yours as well.
well, we used to do a show with League of Lions. It was, what was it, the Untamed show at the Levee? An adult-oriented show. And they had someone out there, I don't recall the name, I come up right at the end of it. They was having some little clinic there before the matches. And I caught the tail end of it, and he said, he asked the question, who wants to go out and have the match of the night? And everybody was like, oh, I do. I'm like, okay, where's he going with this? And what he said stuck with me for the rest of my career. You should want to go out there and entertain the fans. So I might have a 10-minute match, but it's going to take me 5 minutes to get to the ring. Because I was about the fans, whether I was good, whether I was being a good guy, or whether I was being a bad guy. It was about the fans.
Yeah. Favorite feud?
Oh man, there have been some many good ones. I would have to say probably the Mafia, Chris Preston, and Smasher. Really, that's the ones that come to mind. I mean, like I said, me and Cordova had great matches, but we never really had a long going.
The one that popped in when I wrote it down was, you brought them up earlier, you and Rancid. You and Rancid tried to kill each other for about the better part of a year in TUW, it felt like.
yeah, that was. I've forgotten a lot of that because he hit me so many times in the head with a kendo stick. But
Rancid with the kendo stick? Might need to talk to Larry about that one, huh? All right, favorite partner. We know you're a tag team expert, had tons of singles, accomplishments as well, but you're the tag guy. I mean, you are the leader of the tag.
This is a bad question to ask because when I answer it, then
Yeah,
I've got about
get
5 or 6 people that are going to get mad.
And it doesn't have to be for skill level. It's just your favorite partner because of the run or because of the gimmick that you had or whatever. Just good memories.
Well, I'm going to go with Pooch and the Regulators for this reason. Because Pooch helped me get, basically, I'm going to say Pooch helped me get ready to beat Rob Sparky.
Okay.
That's really where I learned tag wrestling, was with Pooch. So that'll always hold a special spot in my heart. I had a great time with PYT, Joey Corman. He was probably the easiest to work with because I knew I had to go out there and take a beat down so he can come in and save me. But I mean, each one of my partners, I love being their partner for several different reasons. Like I said, Rob, he elevated me, and I feel like Rob elevated me to another level. Pooch got me started in tag. Joey Corman helped me start honing, my tag skills. He taught me a lot. I tried to take something from everybody I tagged and put it all together. Hope the fans enjoyed it.
There you go. Again, easiest opponent.
Easiest to work? Joey Corman.
Flip side, hardest. Styles just didn't gel. They were horrible, whatever you want to call it. Just the hardest match you've ever had because it just didn't click.
The hardest match I ever had. Well, the hardest guy to have a match with, because I like to have a psychologist, was that I had on a regular basis was Muscle Creed, because he was just so big. I mean, I couldn't pick him up and slam him, so there went, 5 of my moves gone right then, which brought out a new way to do the bicycle kick, and there you go. So I like to thank Creed for getting the hell of a bicycle kick started. But
Speaking of
the hardest
kicks,
hitting I ever had was in Blakewater. He TW. Was able to see if we beat the crap out of each other for the belt. I ended up getting this call, buddy, but broke my shoulder doing it.
You brought up the bicycle kick. Again, we say this jokingly, but there's a lot of truth to it. It seemed like every time you'd hit a new move, the big tall Irish guy would do it on TV about a month later. I mean, was you slipping stuff to the big company, you know?
Well, we used to joke about that plane flying around that would fly around during the show with us taking pictures. Honestly, I think what happened on that, if that's what happened, you know, no disrespect to him, but I did it first.
You did do it first.
You
You had to watch your film footage to make sure it was right.
I mean, I did the Celtic Cross, which I'm not going to mention who I got that from, but I did, you know, I did the front pump kick, as they call it now. It was my bicycle kick,
White noise. You did white noise.
you know, so I did all of that, but the one that got me the most was, I can't remember their name now. Maybe you can remember. They were a tag team. When the bell would ring, he would go all crazy and beat the crap out of them.
Jesse and Festus.
Yes, Festus.
Yeah.
So
Luke Gallows.
Festus come out, bicycle kicked the guy, picked him up, flight 180'd him, and won the match.
Like
My
you've
phone-
had that match before, haven't
My
you?
phone started ringing. It was Sean Cordova. Did you just see that? I said, yeah, I just threw the remote at the TV. So we always joked about they was watching us, and you know, because we'd do something at LOL or TEW, and then the next week you'd see it on Raw. But the only thing, if they did see me, it was because one of the guys sent in the tape. He asked me if it was okay if he used our match to send to WWE. And of course I told him, well, yeah.
Of course it is.
But apparently they didn't want me. They just wanted my moves.
And you're still waiting on your royalties.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Which I have to plug Booker T for the bicycle kick, because I took his kick, his scissor kick, and modified it to fit me.
there you go.
That's where I got the idea from. If you'll notice a lot of similarities in the bicycle kick, the way I go to it, and his scissor kick. Thanks, Booker T.
Right?
I know you're watching.
So, how many years active were you?
A long time. We'll just say over 20.
Over 20.
We'll just go with over 20.
Accomplishments that our YouTube fans need to know. I brought up Grand Slam and TEW.
Believe Triple Crown, LOL.
Tag World Lionheart, correct?
I'm still the reigning Southern champion for TEW. You know, they changed the belt to something else.
Right.
But nobody ever pinned me for it. My greatest accomplishment is being respected by the guys in the back. You know, all the rest of it is just flash.
Right.
What means the most to me is the guys in the back respecting my opinion. You know, just respecting me.
Then, gone, what, year and a half now?
About that.
Anything you wish would have happened before you called it done?
Actually, it just turned 2 years. Well, I wish I'd have been a little more active in going to other places and trying to pick up from other areas. Me and Joey Corman talked about traveling, hitting the road, but we never got our stuff together. I wish I would have traveled more. And I wish before he passed I could have been at Devastation Incorporated. Just once.
Just once.
Just once. I mean, you got me started, but you're not going to let me be. Come on, Act.
2 years gone from League of Lions Wrestling, chosen by the leaders of this company to be the first inductee. That should tell you how much you mean to this company, how much you mean to this business, how much you mean to every one of us personally. So what's next for Mongoose?
Well, you know me, never say never. But the old body ain't what it used to. You know what I'm talking about.
It's like you just called me out.
It's time for them young bucks, man. It's their time. I had my time. I had a great run. I'm not going to say I'm never going to come back to it, but it will be in another capacity. I've thought about managing. I thought about coming over and sitting beside you, being timekeeper or something, something to keep me busy.
With us being on YouTube, Khan and Kuza might need a little sidekick up there with them too. Somebody that knows the business better than us all. I say this with all the love in the heart. You've meant a whole lot to a whole lot of people, that even if it's just to come say hello, you need to come around more often. I know it's an hour drive, but come say hi.
Well, I just by luck caught, Sean Cordova's last match, and that was just by luck. And it was still pretty fresh that I've been gone for, and it hurt to sit there. That's the reason I haven't been back. It's because it was. I think I could probably come around now and be okay, but it was tearing me up just to sit there. It's like I can't explain it. I've done it for so long, and it was such a big part of my life to not do it anymore. It's just, so I had to stay away until I got my mind right. It still hurts. Right. Got titanium in there now.
Right.
Yay me. To this, it's been 2 years and I still don't have all my strength back. But like I said, never say never. But I might do something in the managerial role. I think I still have a lot of knowledge to pass on to these younger guys coming out, and just fill in where I'm needed out, the back, helping these guys, these younger guys with their matches, might have just something to get me back so I can spend time with you guys, because that I look forward to that.
That's it right there.
For 3 weeks, I was looking forward to. It's next weekend.
Right. Well, once again, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We'll plug League of Lions on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, whatever it's called these days. Make sure you like the video, subscribe. That way you know when we're posting all the new stuff. And don't forget D-Rock's Gym every third Saturday of the month. League of Lions takes over. You get to see men like this who put their life on the line to entertain you, and we're the ones that are better for it. Thank you so much for everything you've done in this business. Thank you for being my friend. Love you, brother.
Love you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, League of Lions Wrestling. Our initials might be LOL, but we ain't no joke. We'll see you soon.